Hey everyone, how's it going today? Coach Alvarez here, back at you another episode, Coffee with Coach. Hope you're all doing well. Got the mind in the right place. If not, as always, let's put it in the right place. Heard something this morning on my Instagram, going through my news feed, and it's really, really good stuff. It's just something that I hear quite often. It's also a phrase that I use about myself and other people when I'm trying to describe their characteristics about them or whatnot. It's really good stuff. And I was already just on my way to working out anyways. And so it just made my workout that much better and just got the mind more in tune to where like it already kind of was, but even better. So shared it with my team. We have a private Facebook team page that I shared with my team. And so I just figured I'd share it with everyone else. And the phrase, it was a video, it was a wrestle, because I wrestled in high school, so I'm a big fan of wrestling, and I got a lot of wrestling things in my newsfeed. So it was a wrestling coach, I think it was a wrestling coach or a football coach, but those kind of things are on my newsfeed, and it was just one of the coaches just talking about he's built different, as an excuse for people. Some people will, which me being a coach and being in sports my entire life, and then especially doing jiu-jitsu, for 25 years or whatever, like you would hear or still hear these things of people describing other people on why they're able to achieve the things that they achieve versus the ones that don't. And it's just a phrase, just as he's built or she's built different, meaning like they just do things that other people just don't do. Not that they can't do, they just don't want to do them. They can do them. They actually can do them. There's other things like in life that you can't change your height or certain athletic ability or IQ on things. You can work on those things little by little and get better. But you just can't change certain things. Like for me, I'm the height I am. I can't change the height that I am to go be a basketball superstar, or change like my frame, be like some 240, 50 pound football player or something like that. It is what it is. Like my built's the way I'm physically built the way I'm built. So I have to use that and then do whatever I can within my means and power and my abilities to make it better, right? To make what I'm able to do even better. So, this video is just describing, just other players, like I said, he or she can do that because they're built different. And the coach is like, well, why are they built different? Is it because they're getting up earlier than you? Is it because they're staying later than you at practice? Or they're showing up earlier than you at practice? Are they doing all these things that you could do, you just don't want to do? And that's what makes them built different, And I really, really, really like that because, again, just dealing with people the way I deal with people, coaching students the way I have to. I've been coaching students for all these years. You just get to see what individuals, choice-wise, what they choose to do and what they choose not to do. So I have some students that just really get after it with like all the things that they need to do to like get better in jiu-jitsu. And then I have those other students where they want to get better in jiu-jitsu, but they just don't really want to make an extra class a week, or they don't really want to pick their harder training partners, or they don't really want to do some extra cardio or do some extra working out outside the gym, the training sessions, and they don't want to do the studying and watch videos, and all those things add up. And then you got the other person that does do all those things, so they're built different. They're going to be better. If they're not better than certain individuals, they will eventually catch up to them. And I see that on a routine basis, where I see people come in and, they're getting beat on the mat. They're losing their matches in competition and in the class and in training. And then little by little, months, go by, a year goes by, and you start to see things change. Like, man, that person's starting to tap that other person. He couldn't do that before. She couldn't do that before. And now they're catching up to him, and now they're actually surpassing them and beating them on a routine basis. How did that happen? Like, how does that even be allowed to happen? Is because one's built differently than the other. One has a mindset like, I am going to figure this thing out one way or the other, and I'm going to do whatever it means necessary to like get better at this thing and take my licks along the way and just learn and get better. And then you got the other ones that are like, I'm okay with like where I'm at, and I don't really want to do anything extra. And so what happens is they start to fall behind the other one. I give you an example. I have a friend of mine that comes and trains with me on Mondays and Wednesdays, and it's been like 3-4 years, something like that now. Black belt, another black belt, and when he first started to come train with me, um, there was a huge uh, gap in the rounds, as far as like points wise and submission wise, because I was very focused and been competing for all these years, and this other person hasn't. And now they want to come and learn how to compete. So they were coming to train with me on a routine basis, like clockwork. Like it's every Monday and Wednesday, and then sometimes on Saturday. But just one day after just kind of, giving it to them and giving them the business, like it's just like, how is this happening? Like how like we both came from the same instructor. We both, like, you train, I train, we're both black belts. We both got our black belts about the same time, like 2 months apart. Like, how is there so much of a gap between us? And I was like, well, I do cardio and you don't. Like, I work out and you don't. Like, I eat healthier foods and you don't. Like, I do all these things that you just don't do. And he's like, okay. So he started to make those changes. He went and bought some running shoes, and actually now he runs more than me. Actually, I haven't been able to run. Haven't really tested it out, but I haven't ran in a long time. But before the injury on my knee, it was clockwork. This is every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It was 3 miles, no matter what. Rain, snow, whatever. But now this person's doing it, and they are taking better care of themselves, and they are more fit, and they are taking the jiu-jitsu more seriously, and you can tell that they study outside of the training, because I can feel like new things happening or being tried during the rounds, and the gap is closed. It has closed actually quite a bit, to where it's like, this individual is really giving me a really hard time and became a really good training partner because of the struggles that I have to have. Because in the beginning it really wasn't a struggle. It was pretty easy, because they just didn't have those things that I was doing. But now that they're doing those things, the gap is closed. So, and I think it's a permanent thing, like with this individual, and then like with me and those kind of people. And I think, like this coach said, like you want to be labeled as that. You want to be known as that, like, or at least you should. Now, again, there's some people, man, they're happy. Like I brought up the my episode the other day. Like, some people are just happy with the way things are. Average finances, average health, average jiu-jitsu, average whatever, and they're happy with that. Then they shouldn't change. But if you're not happy with your jiu-jitsu or your finances or your health or whatever it is, you have a simple choice, like today, to make a change and be like, all right, that's enough. I'm going to be built differently. Like, I'm going to change these things, and these things by the 6 months from now, or by the end of 2023, I'm going to be a different person. I'm going to be built differently. Like, regardless of what happens and life throws my way, there's no excuses. The discipline's going to kick in. I'm going to do the extra things that are necessary to put me in a position to win, whether it's a tournament, again, whether it's your finances, whether it's just life in general. You're going to be built differently. And again, with the built differently thing, mindset and those kind of things comes with the hate, and people like think you're better than they think you're better than everyone else and all this other stuff. So they kind of talk to you like, 'cause that's the things that I get. But it's, for me, as simple as like what I told my students the other day, like, don't think I'm better than anyone. It's just, I know that I do things better than other people. Again, if I'm eating, grilled chicken and broccoli, grilled salmon and broccoli and brown rice, and you got a cheeseburger and fries, who's doing it better? Me. Okay? I'm working out and you're not working out. Who's doing it better? Me. I'm showing up to class. You're not showing up to class. Who's doing jiu-jitsu better? Me. You're sleeping in. I'm not sleeping in. Who's doing jiu-jitsu better? Like, if you're not taking care of your finances and you're letting your credit card run up and you're not paying the balances off like you're supposed to, and your credit score is kind of average, and I have a zero balance on my credit card after I use it and I paid off within the first 30 days, not getting interest on it, and my credit score is 800, who's doing that better? I am. And you just go down the list and just chop away and be like, do all those things differently. And then what happens is just you're just a built differently individual to where, again, success really isn't a surprise. It's just kind of expected because you're like, I'm doing all these things the right way, or at least trying to, and eventually it's going to catch up to put me in the win column. You know, I'll give you another example and I'll head out. I'll give a highlight on one of my students. His name is Kevin. He's taking some L's, but he's getting those W's, competing. And I've seen him, like, he just does the right things. He meal preps, he swims, he works out, he shows up to class, he trains when I don't think he should train because he's either hurt or he should give his body a rest, which he didn't the other day. But he's there. He's there, and he's doing things differently than a lot of other students are not. And what's happening is he's starting to catch up to people. When he's doing the competition rounds, he's starting to tap people. He's starting to beat people in the regular rounds. And now he's making the podium, and he's getting some W's, and he's getting, again, taking the L's, getting the W's. He doesn't get all upset and get whiny about it. He'll come right back to class, keep practicing, but he's doing all these things. And as a coach, I see that and I respect that because it's like, yeah, he might not be the best right now. He might not be taking all the gold medals right now, but eventually if he stays on that path, he definitely will be one of the best guys in our room and one of the best guys in the tournament because the work ethic just cannot be denied. Like that's eventually going to catch up, and he's eventually going to start hitting that stride and getting that rhythm going to where he just starts to take off, because I've seen it happen time and time again with a lot of other students that have done all the right things, the extra things, to just be different. So message of the week, message of the day, be built different. It's easy. Everyone can do it regardless of your whatever things you have or don't have, or how you grew up, or what kind of things you didn't have growing up, one parent, both parents, no parents, whatever. If you just go down the list on the things in your life to where like you just fix these things and just be different about them and treat them better than other people, you will be built differently. All right, guys, gotta go train. Catch you guys on the next one. Have a great day. We'll see you.